I think for us coming back play for Cote d'Ivoire, representing Cote d'Ivoire in AFCON was something special, you know. And I could see the excitement of Didier, Yaya, myself, Javinho coming back home and wearing that jersey, going to the African Cup because we wanted to win it for our country.
And how much did you see it change, Salomon, over the years? Because obviously you played in Europe for many years. There was a perception about clubs sometimes that don't want to release the players, but gradually things look a little bit different.
Yeah, it looked very different from when I started. I think now a lot of things improved. The stadium improved, the organization improved, and it gave it the opportunity for, you know, even the kid from the African kid who didn't grow up in Africa and have no relationship with Africa want to come back to play that competition because we elevate that competition. You have such a legend that participate in that competition that contribute to also make that competition appealing. And I think the best competition we host the last time it was in Ivory Coast. We see the engagement of people who want to come in the stadium, watch the game, and even on TV, you know, people was tuning to watch the game, and the level of the game changed because African football is developing as well.
Salomon, let's talk about how Cote d'Ivoire has evolved. I mean, you're looking at 2015 when you won it, you know, and then the following AFCONs up until last year when you won it, and now preparing for this upcoming one. Let's talk about how Cote d'Ivoire has evolved since then.
Cote d'Ivoire, there's always talent, you know, there's always gonna have a new player coming out because football to us is more than a religion, you know. All the kids there want to play, want to be the next Yaya Touré, and you can see that in every corner of Abidjan, the kid with a lot of talent. Now we have to try to have a lot of to organize that better, so those kids can have better facility and can also develop the skill. And I mean that's the only difference we have with Europe. You know, I have the chance to live both worlds. I went early, super early, and final. Then I can tell you the only thing that stands between those two continents is the infrastructure. And I hope with you know the partnership today with all the view, we can bring that to African football because we know that the talent is there. How to develop the talent, that's what the problem stands.
What do you make of how the gap has been closing on the continent? I mean, in previous Nations Cup, you sort of could know who the top four might be, but that has slightly changed now in terms of smaller teams doing well.
Yeah, that's how football now changing because there's no small team. You see, team like Lesotho have players that play here in the Premier League, South African Premier League. Maybe we don't know them, but they have the quality. They're playing there. So when they go back to national team and they play in Ivory Coast, people expect Ivory Coast to win 3-4-0, but those are talented players. And this is what football is. In Africa now, there is no more small team. We see Guinea Equatorial beat Ivory Coast 4-1 and home. So I think we have to know that football is changing. Every country try to bring the best program for the youth, and that's how we're gonna one day probably win the World Cup.
Take the last question.
What do you think which sort of countries are you looking for to really push?
Well, it's very difficult to say because like the previous question, there's no small team. So I want to say the big countries, the Nigeria, the Ivory Coast, the Morocco, but there's always some surprises. I think South Africa is coming back. They doing very well. They qualify for the World Cup. I think the Bafana getting back to the level that they usually show us. I mean, we know football here is big as well, and you have big clubs with big program for youth academy. You know, it starts with the youth tournament. That's how you develop your local football, and I think that South Africa is doing that very well. And I won't be surprised to see them so far in the AFCON because last AFCON they played, they did very well. and Ivory Coast, they were one of the surprising team in the competition. So I'll be putting my money on South Africa because they can be surprise. They can be the surprise of the competition.
Squeeze in one last question also.
Partnership with Canada's and Capricorn is very important because now more people can reach the African game, but also the precursor for the World Cup, so more children get to inside. What do you think of the partnership?
Oh, great! Like I said before, the first time we won the African Cup, the game was not even TV. So I know how important it is to inspire the next generation. Because staying at home, watching those kind of game with your brothers, your parents, your friend, it's an impact that people cannot imagine because you see your country, you feel part of them and you support them. And I'm very glad about that partnership because it will give the opportunity for even not only in Africa but across the globe. We see how African football involved. And how African football is getting better. I think the president of CAF is doing a great job to bring in sponsor to the competition because that's how we're gonna show that we're not only talented, but we can also come together and create a great event.